Salad, yummy, yummy. Fruit salad, yummy, yummy. Yummy, 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 yummy fruit salad. We're making top ramen. Hello, hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met already, hello, hi, the name's Quinn. It's very nice to meet you. Today I'm cooking. I'm trying to make something that's cheap into something that's good. It's good old-fashioned top ramen, college staple in life. I mentioned in my last video that I was wanting to make a video where I kind of just explain everything that's happening in regards to me and money. If you guys don't know, quick little recap of everything. I live with my parents right now. I moved back in and I'm working at their coffee shop and I haven't been getting paid yet. That's basically what we're covering and answering today is what's happening. I have two previous videos that kind of prelude this and everything. I have a video that I made back in November talking about being here at the ranch and how my wedding is supposedly getting financially funded, and then also a video that I filmed in the beginning of this year talking about my 2020 financial goals, basically the plans for the first 6 months of this year and why I'm moving back in with my parents. In case you haven't noticed, I'm filming on my phone, so audio might be a little wonky, I'm not sure, but hopefully it's going to be quiet in this house because no one's home except for me and the dogs, so you might hear or see them later on. So I'm getting hungry, so I'm going to start trying to put everything together. I am not good at cooking. I just kind of smell things and then think that they might taste good together. Typically, it doesn't really taste good together, but it's edible, so I end up going with it. I have some top ramen, good classic top ramen. How I'm going to try to spice things up a little bit. We have hard-boiled eggs, fresh from the farm, and freshly boiled. Some pepper, I'm not exactly sure what pepper it is, but I found it in the fridge and we're gonna try it and see if it's good. Some green onions, which I'm gonna try to propagate after this because they're already dying. I found in my parents' fridge, everything was found in my parents' fridge basically, these alfalfa sprouts, which are really yummy, so we're gonna add that to it. Some garlic. Those things I knew for sure I wanted to put into my ramen. If I had mushrooms, I would add them too, but we don't have mushrooms right now and I don't feel like leaving the house to go shopping. And then everything else here, I'm just hoping tastes good. Hoisin sauce. Some basil leaf, maybe. And then this hot chili oil to add some spice to our ramen. So I'm just gonna get the ramen boiling and we'll get started. Yeah, just like that much. Yeah. Okay, so while the water boils, we're gonna start cutting up some things here. This is gonna be a bit of a video. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I don't know how much I plan on talking. So grab for yourself a tasty snack to eat along with me. Make yourself some lunch or have a beverage. I have coffee, cause it's me, I'm a coffee addict. Okay, so getting into the stories. We just cut up this pepper. I have no idea how I'm supposed to properly cut it, but we're just gonna go with it and hope I do it right. Ooh, that smells so good. And a little spicy too. So I'm just cutting it lengthwise and then I'm just gonna cut it into little slices. I think I'm supposed to leave the seeds in. I know the seeds are usually what's the spicy part. Ooh, that smells so good. Okay. Okay, peppers are done. Okay, so what I want to talk about is everything kind of revolves around what happened the beginning of this month at the coffee shop. News came about that we weren't expecting, and so things not necessarily started falling apart, but like stopped being held together in a way, so like kind of falling apart. But it's gonna be okay in the long run. It's just kind of like unfortunate timing of things, essentially. So all of this, my wedding planning, my ways of making money and everything, kind of revolves around the coffee shop. Financially speaking, I've said it before, and I really do want to reiterate this, I'm throwing this knife around and I just know someone's gonna freak out. I had never really pictured myself as having a wedding where my parents like fully fund everything. Hello? Hi. I'm sorry, I'm filming.
You practicing?
No, I'm filming.
Oh.
I'm saying hi. It's Mama and the dogs. I'm surprised they weren't barking a lot.
So you can put this part in it when it says hi. Hold on.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. You can edit that part.
Okay.
Like the pepper?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, oh, that was spicy. Oh, that's spicy.
Yeah, it's not a jalapeno.
What is that?
I'm not sure, but it's not a jalapeno. The smaller they get, the spicier they are.
Mm-hmm. I feel my gums burning.
It might be a sriracha pepper.
That burns so good.
Those are hard-boiled eggs that are in the refrigerator. They're nice and softly hard-boiled. Not soft-boiled, but like they're just cooked.
Nice. Okay, bye, Mom. Okay, so she left. Little interruptions. Okay, basically while she was talking, I finished cutting up the greens, put all the grains in this little bowl. I feel like this is a lot, but we never know. I might not eat it all. Who knows? Anyways, basically, yes, I never pictured myself as having this really big, extravagant wedding or anything. Nor did I really envision spending a bunch of money on a wedding, or even my parents spending a bunch of money on a wedding. I did just know that it was tradition for the bride's family to pay for the wedding. So when I started joining this financial community, and when I started growing up and became the age that I am now, where a bunch of people my age are getting married, I was hearing how much realistically weddings are, and how people are paying for their own weddings now, and how people are saving up for years for their wedding, which is why engagements can be so long, because people are saving for their wedding because they don't want to have their parents pay for things. They don't want to get a credit card. And I was like, okay, totally understand. I don't expect my parents to pay for it. Brian and I, once we started talking more seriously about getting married, the plan was, we knew from where we were in life that we were not in a space financially where we could even be able to feasibly pay for all of our own wedding. Also, on top of that, we were definitely in the mindset of having a shorter engagement, like handful of months long engagement, like less than half a year. Ooh, the water's ready. So the idea was, we're just gonna elope and then have a wedding party, like a year from now. Time to plop in the ramen. Nice. Go to a big fork. Anyways, yeah, what we pictured for ourselves was having that elopement and then the party later on, which has been something that I've been seeing amongst other people for quite a while now. I don't know if it's just like a current trend or a fad or something that has actually been happening for a while. I just haven't seen it, but that's like what we pictured for ourselves. Ooh, this ramen is cooking quickly. First up, the chicken flavor that comes with it. If you want to make it vegan, then obviously just don't add this in. But I'm not quite vegan, so we're just gonna add that in. It's gonna be a spoonful of this garlic. If I can open it. Am I adding this all in the right order? I don't know. You guys can roast me in the comments of being just like, what are you doing? That's not how you do it at all. But that's a lot of garlic, but I feel like I'm getting sick, so. I do greatly enjoy my garlic. On with the story. When Brian asked my dad for permission to marry me, both of my parents were basically like, yeah, you guys need to have an actual wedding, because they ran off and eloped in the 90s because their parents got too involved in the wedding planning process, and they're like, well, calm down, we're gonna go and do this. If you guys want to come, you can, but you guys are being too much. So then it became okay, so we have to have a wedding now, but we still wanted the short-term engagement, so we're like, okay, well, we have to rely on family for money, because we're so low on money that we're moving across the country basically, so that I've talked about before, it has so much expense behind it just in the move, and all of that fun jazz. Not too much of that hot chili sauce. Woo-hoo-hoo. Smells good. Wow, it smells spicy already. Ooh, okay. Sprinkle in some of this basil. Hopefully it tastes good. And my parents had kind of a trick up their sleeve, which was the coffee shop. So they knew that they would be able to afford, because they knew that I'm also cheap, and I was going to try to do as much DIY and cheap as I can with everything. I'm gonna get this off the heat now. and my greens. So they're like, okay, cool. So when we have the coffee shop, we have these plans. We'll be able to afford everything. You can also get help from the family and all that shebang. Wow, look at these flavors. Look at these colors. So when I was talking with my parents about like coming up and coming to the ranch and spending time with them, because I was like, hey, I'm moving across the country, and after I get married, also my brother's having his baby, so I want to spend as much time with the family as I can, and also like you guys got a lot going on. I didn't know about the coffee shop yet, but I was like, you guys have a lot going on with the ranch and the baby, so let me go and take at least my part of everything, which is the wedding and the venue, off your hands, and I can work on it. The plan was me being here and spending like the vast majority of my time working out on the ranch and building the venue. And they're like, okay, that'll be great, that'll be cool. Speaking of wedding, the rehearsal dinner we can have at the coffee shop, because we just got the coffee shop. And I was like, oh my gosh, great timing. Let me show you this ramen really quick. Look at that. Look at it. Wow. Wow. Fingers crossed it tastes good. Definitely would be a lot better with like less water and some mushrooms. That sounds so good. I also realized I haven't addressed this, but I am having another little eczema breakout right now, so the skin looking kind of whack. And this ramen's probably definitely not gonna help, but it's good, and I've been craving ramen for like a week, so we're doing this. So with the coffee shop, the previous owners basically had two buildings. They had the coffee shop, and then they had another building that was supposed to be permitted to turn into a kitchen, so that way it could do more restaurant stuff. Right now it's being used as like a storage room for everything, because they're very small. Like they're very small, might have been houses before, but they're very small buildings. So the plan was for my parents that with the other building being permitted to turn into a kitchen, they were going to extend the hours, because the coffee shop used to only be open in the mornings, closed at like 2 or 4 o'clock p.m. And my dad, being from San Diego and everything, the nightlife of San Diego, he was like, keep it open till 10. Like we need a place that's going to be open till 10. We'll have the restaurant start serving like vegan friendly food or like plant-based food, like more healthy foods, because this is a very small town. There's not a lot of healthy food here. And he was like, this will be great. We'll have that kitchen, that part up and running by like April. So within like 2 to 3 months, 4 months like max, we'll have that kitchen up and running, and we'll be able to be bringing in even more income that will definitely be able to pay for the wedding, but like anything else, basically, we'll have that good income coming in. And so with that, we had some cousins that came here to the States from my dad's side of the family, and they used to own some restaurants as well back in the Philippines, and they're like, okay, we're game, like we'll help out, we'll be great. My parents kind of knew, like if you own your own business in the beginning, like you're not making money, because all of the money that's coming in, you're putting straight back into the business. And with it being the coffee shop that's already been established, there was already overhead being like the building, like all of the coffee and food and everything that was already there, as well as employees. So there was already a lot of overhead. So my parents aren't making a salary. The deal was that my cousins had, that my dad also proposed to me, was that if we come and we help out at the shop, technically not getting paid, kind of like my parents, where they're technically, you know, they're not making money off of the shop yet. So we're not working as hourly, but we're helping out as much as we can. My parents will cover our bills, which is a nice deal. So I'm not making money where I can put more money into savings, which is the unfortunate thing, because that would be really helpful, but I am helping out the family business that is going to be growing into something big. I am still getting my bills paid, and I'm not losing savings, basically. I'm gonna bowl up this ramen here and see if it tastes good. Ooh-wee. That looks so good. I gotta grab a spoon to grab some of the sausage. Do we not have a spoon that doesn't have a hole in it? Ladle, close enough. This looks so good. I forgot about the egg, so here it is that I completely butchered while I tried cutting it up. Woo! Yay! Yeah, I have some napkins here anyways, because like emotionally I love spicy food, but physically my nose is definitely gonna start running here, so preparing myself. It smells really good. It looks divine. See if it tastes any good. Yeah, it tastes fine. It's not like super strong flavors. The spice isn't even too strong either. And then again, I didn't eat one of the peppers yet. Kind of feeling the spice a little bit, but not really. It's good. It's good. I'm definitely getting some of those sprouts, which is yummy. Little mukbang. To continue the story, basically we're all underneath this agreement. Everything was going to be paid, free place to live, free food. Bills were going to be paid and covered. We just weren't under getting paychecks. I think the reason behind that, it hasn't been explicitly said to me, but I think the reason behind that was because we wanted to make sure that a couple reasons, because it's kind of like, it's not just that like, oh, my parents are saving money for investing into the kitchen later by not paying us yet, because they're still paying our bills, but also like the amount of hours that I've put in so far have been more than what my bills are worth, which I'm fine with. Like I can handle it. Like I'm fine. I know that it's very temporary. If it was something that was like really long term, then I'd be a bit more apprehensive, but I know it's extremely temporary. So that's why I'm not making a big deal about that. What happened was basically the first week that they opened underneath the new ownership of my parents, my dad went to the city, or he went to something, and he went to go check the permits so that way he can go and get the second building started with the building it for the kitchen and everything. And the officials were basically like, yeah, no, the permits that were there, they've been expired. Like they've been expired for several months at this point. And my dad's like, oh, okay. Was not told about that. Cool. Well, let's just get it restarted, I guess. So the permits, whatever permits he had on the other building, and the officials were like, oh, we didn't have any type of permits remotely close to what you're thinking they were. Like it was basically only permitted to have a refrigerator in there. And my dad was like, cool, great, exciting, what? So basically the plan of the restaurant being only 2, 3, 4 months tops of happening and starting and getting the income revenue. Oh, I'm shaking the table. Getting the income revenue of that got pushed out basically to 8 to 12 months now. So when that happened, my cousins were basically like, oh yikes, we can't wait that long. Even if you're paying our bills, like they had kids, they need to be able to make some money besides just the tips, like what you guys see me making. They're like, we need to be bringing in more money than just enough to cover the bills, essentially. So they need to put away money for savings. Eventually, they didn't want to stay living with my family forever, you know? Which, by the way, I am curious. I know that a lot of family businesses are kind of like the same way, where people will work and the owners don't make money, and the owners are a family unit, so it's like the family's not making money yet, but they're investing in the business. I don't know if that's just like a common thing amongst family-owned businesses, or like especially in the beginning. This is genuinely the beginning, like not even a full month has happened yet. Or if it's like a cultural thing, or even more specifically like an Asian thing, more specifically a Filipino thing, or if it's genuinely just like a my dad thing, because I know he really admires the whole like one family, one household type of thing. Like the family just supporting each other to like a really deep extent. Which isn't bad, like it's not wrong. Like I really do appreciate everything. But with that setback of my cousins being like, oh no, we really can't wait that long. We need income by the time that we basically had initially talked about, which was only gonna be like a handful of months. They're like, okay, unfortunately we have to go and like find other jobs. Which was unfortunate because them working and doing like the whole same thing as me of working essentially for free enough to work, we're getting our bills paid. That has caused like 2 things to happen. Me to work at the coffee shop almost every day. This is like my first day off since coming back. Me to work at the coffee shop almost every day in order to help my parents not have even more overhead. And then 2, now my dad has had to hire on some more people that he initially wasn't wanting to hire on. He wasn't wanting to hire on like anybody else until the restaurant happened. But now that restaurant's getting pushed back several months. So it's just like the hiccup of the timing. Like this hiccup can be like pushed past and be moved on from. Like the business has only been open for not even a month underneath the new ownership, with new foods and new ways of management and everything, which is, from what I'm hearing from the workers who have been working there previously, has been a lot better. But also later hours and more events that are happening. My parents have a lot of great ideas for the coffee shop, but the unfortunate timing is that it is happening when we needed the money for my wedding. So as of this moment, I have done nothing to the ranch regarding the venue. I've been here for like a couple of weeks, like 3 weeks at this point. I had expected to be able to do a lot more. So at this moment, I haven't been able to do anything. So that's where my frustration lies in. It's not at all at my parents, it's at the situation, but like I haven't been able to do anything of the reasons why I came up here in the first place. I'm glad that I'm able to be here to help out my parents in this hard time, but yeah, the situation is just kind of like unfortunate and undesirable, but it will be pushed past for sure. So that's why you haven't seen any kind of wedding content like I thought I'd be filming besides this video. Yeah, because the thing with my cousins is that like once the restaurant was gonna open, which would have been as soon as a month from now, as late as a couple months from now, like they would have had the ownership of that as well. And they would have been making, like everybody in the family would have been able to be making money off of it. Helping my parents out right now. My parents genuinely do see it as a favor of me being here and helping, and like my cousins when they're here helping, it was just like a huge favor. Like it was gonna be like what was gonna make it work favor, and the whole it being pushed back to another year really set a lot of things back. Yeah, that's basically that. At the beginning of March though, I should be able to spend more time out on the ranch and actually putting together the venue and everything. So fingers crossed that's what's happening. Pray for us, please. If you guys are driving through Southern California for whatever reason, you want to drive through Tehachapi, stop by the coffee shop. Like, check us out, hang out a little bit. It is a really cute, like, nifty spot. It's introducing something new to the town that I think people from the town have really been wanting. So, yeah, I think that's basically it. I think that is the story of why I'm not making money and why I haven't been working on the wedding yet. Little setbacks, but things we'll be looking at. But yeah, that's gonna do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys were eating something with me while you were watching this, let me know in the comments and we can talk about food together. If you guys have some recipes for some other fun ways to jazz up your ramen, let me know that in the comments and well, I'll definitely try it out. Other than that, if you guys liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more of my face and see me try to conquer the human race, go ahead and subscribe. You can find me at all of my social media at Quinn Caitlin. We can chat, DM me, we can become best friends, we can talk about food, send me food memes, coffee memes. My brother's been sending me coffee memes lately. It's been great. I love and appreciate you guys oh so very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! It's good ramen. Testing. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah.